Back up. Back up. Only in Africa. Back up. Do it. Hi guys, very exciting day. On my way to Aquila Game Reserve just outside Toast Rivier in Western Cape. Meeting up with the guys from Olympus. I was at the launch last night of the new Olympus OMD mirrorless camera, and I have to say I have not been this excited about a piece of camera gear in quite some time. My point of view is that the only mirrorless camera system I would actually switch to is the Sony system, purely because they have got a fantastic camera and sensor. But seeing what this thing did last night, I am very impressed. Just a quick rundown of the features that I can remember it did. It can shoot 60 full RAW frames per second images. That is staggering. They did high-speed tests with water balloons. It is phenomenal. The weather sealing on it was amazing. They actually held one of the cameras underneath one of these water balloons while they popped it. It was drenched completely, and it captured the shots while it was busy, while the balloon was actually busy bursting. So it is amazing. I wouldn't do that with my Canon gear, certainly not with the general day-to-day type of shooting that I would do. Other thing is, it's got the autofocus on that thing is lightning fast. You simply tap on the screen, where it taps it focuses and shoots instantly. It's mind-blowing. The image stabilization is amazing. It's got a 5-axis system and coupled with some of the lenses, you've got 6 stops of image stabilization happening. It is. I shot with the 300mm f4 lens, which is when you put it on the micro four thirds sensor, it becomes a 600 f4. I shot that thing handheld, and there was not a single piece of movement in that image. It was like I was shooting from a. It's not even that steady on my tripod when I'm shooting with my Sigma 150 to 600 lens. It is mind blowing. So we're going to be shooting some wildlife today. It's not wildlife like you would get in Kruger, and the animals do roam free, but it's more like a glorified petting zoo, if I might call it that. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm excited. There is animals. The lions is caged. Unfortunately, won't be getting any hunting photos today. But anyway, we'll see what we get. Right, guys, I'm on my way. It's about another 40-45 minute drive to there. And then I'm meeting up with the guys. I'm really looking forward to it.
EM1. Wait, the last one in the lip. Okay, alright. Current points, up, down, left and right. Simple as that. As well as the wheels will change your options.
Okay.
Okay, so it's quite simple. However you want it set up, you can go for. Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty simple camera. Do you use front or rear button focus?
Rear.
Rear, alright. Set up, it's on the front button.
You can leave it there, it's not an issue.
No,
honestly.
when you switch it onto the
Yeah.
C1 and C2, the focus will be
Okay,
there.
that's fine.
Otherwise, it's on the...
This is looking really cool.
Okay, so that'll basically then operate your focus. The only thing is, like I said, if you're on these idiot modes of program, the focus is on the front. So I went and I set it up like a Muppet.
No, if you're going to be shooting them anyway, it's going to be...
Yeah, but otherwise it's a very basic camera to use, you know.
Just waiting for our vehicle to arrive. Just had a quick play with the camera. What we've got here is the new OMD Mark II. On here is a 300 f4. Yeah, it's a f4 lens with image stabilization, so you got to double the focal range. So basically what you've got here is a 600 f4 lens with image stabilization. There you go. That is lighter than what my Canon 70 is with my 10 to 18 lens that I'm filming this on. It's amazing. Right, I'll show you more in a second.
Out in the inside there, hanging out with your OMD.
Flight director.
That's got to get hidden though.
Hide the Canon.
Are we taking that?
Hang out with your Canon OMD.
Okay, let's all get in here and get hanging out the side. Okay, so I'm going to have the cameras out here.
Now, before we proceed, can any of you tell me what the word safari means?
Trouble.
A whole lot of trouble, believe you me.
You spelled beer wrong.
Well, it's actually an Swahili one. Well, if it's beer, I wouldn't give you any, believe me.
All Muslim, don't worry.
Yeah, okay.
Currently busy shooting 3 rhinos.
Probably heading up. Is this a dam up here?
Yeah, this is a little dam to the other side.
Probably coming for a drink, eh?
Yeah, mate. That's actually part of the pathway.
This thing is incredibly fast. It is amazing.
Not really.
Quite keen to see what the image quality is like. So you've shot with the Mark 1. You said it's faster.
Faster, autofocus faster, the reaction, just amazing, the difference.
Warren, you enjoying this?
I am, yeah, completely. I mean, in the bush, what could be better? You know, this is a hard day in the office.
Could have been printing photos.
Could be,
Yeah, working on your computer.
could be, but I'm not.
Alright. Okay, this is the image stabilization on 600mm lens. So I'm hand holding this, you can see it shaking. As soon as I press the AF button. Unless Warren is shaking a lot there now.
It's working.
But it's freaking mind blowing. It goes back to normal, hand hold.
Why don't we give it a proper shake this time?
Which one?
Okay, give it a shake with the stabilizer off.
Okay.
Okay, and then switch the stabilizer on while you're doing that. Just to zoom out so you can actually see how much is
Okay.
shaking the camera.
There you go. Shaking it. Okay, so now
So that's the overall shake that we're getting. And then the stabilizer on.
it's amazing. You can shoot with a 600mm lens video handheld. It's awesome. There we go, back to normal. Stabilizer. Cool. Okay, this is shooting video now. We're going to shoot video just to show the image stabilization once again. Yeah. Are you recording or not?
Yeah.
No, I'm not recording yet. But there's without, and there's with it.
Okay. Just press the autofocus again.
There's without, and there's with.
It's mine room. Wait, let me play it from the beginning.
That is, just play man. That is handheld at 840 millimeters. Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I like that.
Jeez, but that's 420 millimeters stabilized. Handheld.
One hand.
You look at this, it's amazing.
This section over here, actually we have little private functions if people actually want to have a push dry out to the field. Basically use this area. Back up! Back up!
Only in Africa.
Back up! Do it!
You hear that? That's what I love. You just hear nothing. Except for that truck driver.
Hi guys, we're just back here at Aquila Lodge now. We've just finished lunch. We had a fantastic game drive. Saw quite a bit of really cool animals, some good elephants, really close up with the elephants. We saw lions, but they were in a distance. And we really got to test like I would say, the crap out of this camera. We didn't fiddle too much with the settings because obviously there's a heap of settings in the menu. They set up the camera first to be basically idiot proof. It's basically point and shoot, and you can play around with apertures and ISOs and the normal kind of stuff. The stuff that any person would use that just picks up a camera and just starts shooting. There's no need to fiddle with all the settings. You're not going to use all of it all at once. So there's still a heap of stuff I haven't even touched on this camera that I would like to see. For instance, the Wi-Fi connectivity, all that kind of stuff. Currently there's no RAW drivers available for this. We shot it in RAW and JPEG. JPEGs we're going to be able to look at on the computer. The RAWs unfortunately not, because they're not available yet. But as soon as they become available, I would definitely show you guys some of those images. So I'm just going to give you like a little quick overview of what I found with this camera that I really love. The size. What I've got here is the OMD Mark II. On here I've got a 42 150mm lens f2.8, which basically you need to double your focal length, so it becomes an 80 to 300 2.8 lens. And I've got a 1.4 converter on here, so I was shooting basically at 420 at f4 the whole day with this. It is mind-blowingly fast. It is so fast that you personally cannot keep up with it. Shooting at 18 frames a second, there's no shutter mechanism involved, so it goes so quickly. If you just depress that shutter button for half a second longer, you end up with 5 frames from one shot, which can rack up your memory cards very quickly. The most impressive thing about this, and at this stage is probably the only thing that I would buy this camera for. I would walk into a shop now, put down, say to them, take my money, just give me this thing. It's the image stabilization. It is incredible. I was shooting with a 300mm lens, that's equivalent to 600mm, handheld video in one hand. It is, you simply cannot do that on any DSLR camera. It is insane. Because one thing, it's light, so it's easy to manage. The second thing is it is just so freaking good. You'll see there's a couple of videos, I'll put it up, where you can actually see the difference between the image stabilization switched off and the image stabilization switched on the same subject 2 frames apart. So it is incredible. And it's just that alone is going to make a huge difference to the way that people shoot these things. Shoot at 4K, full 4K at 200 and, let me just double check that, how many megabits per second? 4K at 237 megabits per second. That is, as a friend of mine just told me, who I sent this to, he said, that's cinema quality stuff. I just shot these in normal full HD 50 frames per second, so I'm gonna that's a good comparison if you're looking at a 7D or Canon 5D Mark III or the likes. So the thing I can't stop talking about is the image stabilization, and it is phenomenal. Image quality, if I saw on the back of the camera, it's really good. We were shooting midday light, so you cannot really compare it. We couldn't test the low light capabilities of this. It is something that everybody wants to know. How is the ISO on the camera? It is something I would love to test. I would love to shoot star trails and astro stuff with this. Really push the ISO, see what you get. The next thing that pleasantly surprised me is the electronic viewfinder. It is crystal clear. There's no thing of looking at through the viewfinder and it looks pixelated or grainy or anything like that. It is as clear as the back of the screen. In saying that, it's the focusing system is so lightning fast. Looking through there, one of the really cool stuff is if you've got the continuous tracking on, you focus on your subject, you can recompose and it will keep that subject in a little block on your inside the screen. If it's there on there or on the back here, doesn't matter. It will simply keep it in, so you can focus, you can recompose, and it will keep on tracking that specific subject, which is amazing. If you've got touch and shoot set up at the back, the touching and the shooting is instant. There's no two things about it. Something that I still love to test is the really high resolution images. You need to put it on a tripod, and basically, as they explained it to us, it will take 8 images where the sensor moves actually inside. So it will go image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to figure out where the other 2 goes in. But it all overlaps and it will give you an 80 megapixel raw file. That's insane, coming out of this little sensor like that. And just to quickly show you what the sensor looks like, that's it there. That whole thing. So that is really something I would love to play with, see what the detail is like. Now something like that, if you're shooting landscapes, you'll get amazing detail. Something I really would like to test to see is if you're shooting water, what will the effect be of, let's say, water moving around a rock while you're shooting that frames, because obviously there's going to be a little bit of a glitch in between where the water is not stuck in the spot anymore where it's there and all that kind of stuff. But that's something we will need to check. I hope to get my hands on this for full review. The other thing, long exposures, you will actually see them develop on the back of your screen. So while you're busy shooting, you will be looking at your screen, you'll see the image starting to develop. So once you're happy with the development on the back of your camera, you can simply turn it off, stop the exposure. So there's no more guessing. Like if you had a big stopper on a DSLR, you would have to often take 3 or 4 shots just to get the length right that you would like to expose. With this, you see it as it happens, which is amazing. Only thing, battery, with all these screens and live views and all that kind of stuff, it does drain a bit. We were shooting for about, let's say, 3 full hours, and I'm on 49%. So that is something that could be troubling. You'll need more batteries. If you're shooting a full day wedding, for instance, that kind of stuff, it is dead quiet. You can shoot in places where you won't normally be able to shoot. You will be able to shoot with this. It can shoot 60 frames per second. It's mind-blowing. But right, let me just quickly get Warren here, let him have a couple of words about this, and we'll take it from there. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, I've got Warren Fleming here. He's the South African Olympus ambassador.
Correct, yeah,
yes.
And visionary for the brand worldwide.
Oh, fantastic. Warren, I just chatted a little bit about what was so amazing to me today is the image stabilization, the frames per second, the really clear viewfinder, the video functionality, that's fantastic. What else is there that you, just in quick, would be, if somebody says to you, compare this to a DSLR?
Mobility, definitely.
Oh yes, mobility. And
Mobility
size.
is, I mean, the size is one of the draw cards of the system, especially for me. I travel a lot, move around a lot, so I don't like carrying all that stuff with me.
Yeah.
Even on some of the lenses that do seem quite large, they're a fraction of the size compared to the SLR system.
It's like you said to me once, you can go shoot a wedding, you have everything from a fisheye to a 600mm on your belt.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which is really awesome.
Yeah. Makes the work a lot lighter.
Yeah.
To me, also, what I really like about the camera is that to me makes it a little bit different. Is they've made it a lot more fun in a lot of ways. It's very interactive. It's a very clever system. It's very user friendly in the aspect of the novice to beginner photographer can pick the camera up and learn how to use all the functionality of the camera really quickly and easily.
Yeah, without having to dive too deep into the menu
Exactly.
system.
You know, 1-2 buttons and you're wherever you need to be.
Well, it's like I just said now that you basically set up the camera to be idiot proof for us today.
Yeah.
We could have just shut the speed, aperture and ISO and off we went.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Well, that's all you need in any way to go
Yeah, at
shoot.
the end of the day, it's all that really matters to your end results, yeah.
I would love to, once that RAW driver comes out, to see what the RAW images look like.
You and me both.
On the computer. But judging from what I saw on this back of the screen, it looks good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Now, just something that we spoke about last night, and maybe you've heard about it, that the high megapixel, high definition image that it creates.
Yeah, correct.
Now, you shoot landscapes and I shoot landscapes, so something that I'm curious about is what's going to happen if you shoot a seascape, for instance, and you've got water moving around a rock in the front, in the foreground, and this thing is taking 8 images. What's going to happen with?
Alright, it was a complication on the previous system where they would have a bit of diffraction on the movement. It's something that has been improved quite a lot. However, with any of the movement that does happen, if you run a seriously long exposure, we're talking anything above sort of 5 to 10 seconds and higher.
Yeah, but you're not going to really see it then.
You're hardly going to see it, and if you do, there's a slight cross-hatching pattern on the water itself, on the image itself,
Okay.
which is simple blur tool in Photoshop afterwards, and it's gone.
Okay.
So in terms of running really long exposures, you don't really have any different capabilities than any other SLR system can handle. That's obviously on the high resolution function mode.
Yeah.
But if you're using a straight 20 megapixel file out the camera, you've obviously got the benefits of running the live time system. You know, seeing your image develop while you shoot.
Yeah.
So you've got a few advantages in a very small package, which again is something that's lacking in the DSLR system on the market.
But what I'm thinking now is if you're shooting at, let's say, 1/5 of a second, so you've still got texture in the water moving around.
Oh, there's no sort of problems with things like that. No.
But with that high megapixel one.
No, that's no problem. The speed that it shoots it at, when you're thinking in your head, it sits and it takes 8 pictures. We're still talking in a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
So there's no loss in detail there whatsoever.
I would be really awesome to see that.
Well, we're going to have to sit and try it one day. I think we'll have to maybe take a trip somewhere and go do some shooting when we've got some.
Maybe shoot some white sharks at 60 frames per second.
I think that sounds like a great plan, eh?
Just if we can time that thing, we're going to have to shoot to a hard drive.
Yeah, I think we'll tether a SSD drive to the camera or something.
I think you'll be able to get some amazing footage of, let's say, those white sharks jumping.
Definitely, yeah.
Especially with the image stabilization on the back of a boat and the whole works.
It does. It makes quite a difference. When we sit on the back waiting for the sharks to breach, the stabilization and the vibrations from the boat are non-existent.
Yeah, I can imagine. We were sitting on a diesel truck today and you couldn't see it.
Yeah. I always say to people when they ask, is the stabilization that good? I've strapped it to the roof of my car with a tripod, and it actually looks like a drone in flight.
That was what I was thinking of. For guys that shoot video, you can do walk-through handheld shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is something that you would need a DJI Osmo for or something, and that. So there's too many things to play with in too little time.
I know, that's why as soon as we get our real samples here, we're going to have to go and spend a bit more than a day together with the camera.
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Definitely.
Lots of beers.
Okay,
well, Warren, thanks again for today. It's been It's been an eye-opener and it's been awesome.
Awesome, man. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
No, it was fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah.